All right, so it is September 5th, Labor Day weekend. So it's been about exactly 4 months since I first planted the Throw and Grow Evolved Harvest food plot. And to be honest, as it stands right now, I did not do any fertilizing along those lines, did nothing of that. And which I know, and I didn't till, and I know that those two combinations don't always make the best mix, but I am pretty disappointed on how the stuff is Throw and Grow. I figured, since it says Throw and Grow, I figured, it's gonna grow pretty well, or it should grow pretty well. And I don't think the soil up on top of this hill is too bad, but I'm pretty disappointed how it turned out, mainly because everything did come up, but it's like almost all ryegrass, and with a mix that says clover, ryegrass, and brassicas, ideally it should be a pretty well mixed in bunch. But as you can see, it's just like all grass. And I know some of this grass is just previous grass that was up here because I didn't spray or do any tilling. I just scraped everything off as best I could, and I knew that was to be expected, but I know a lot of this is ryegrass. I mean, I've got some little clovers in here, but they're like really weak, they're really short. So I've never hunted over ryegrass, I've never hunted over a food plot, so I don't know if ryegrass becomes really attractant, but it is still September and everything's pretty green, and there's still quite a bit to eat. But being this is a kind of a cabin land, we're up here a lot, and we're running ATVs around the woods, and we got this big guy running around the woods. So all of that stuff doesn't really equal up to the best hunting property, and I'm aware of that. Hunting is just kind of an added bonus on this land, but I have now kind of figured out. I went out and did some, I just sat in a tree stand this morning, and I saw a couple deer, and I was happy to see that. I wasn't over here, I was over like a little mud hole where it's kind of like a little watering hole, and deer go in there to get a drink in the morning. So I saw a couple little bucks there. But what over the past couple years, I've kind of realized that over here on the other side of this plot, there's a bunch of land that I think some people hunt it during like the gun season, and there might be a bow hunter or two, but I think it's private land, or it's under forest management or something like that. So we never really see anybody over there. There's no one really over there. And then further down the hill from that, there is another guy that owns some land, and they gun hunt it. They don't bow hunt it, but and they're out there, I would say, a couple times a summer, but not out there nearly as much as we are. So I've noticed a lot of the deer come from that side of the land, and they work into our property. We've got like two groups of fawns and does that we see all the time, and I think they're just residents. I see them all the time on the property, but they come in from our property. Usually when I bow hunted it in the past, all the new deer or the lone deer, or like mainly the bucks come in from the neighbor's property, and most of the does just come in from our property, just because I think over the years they've realized that we don't shoot too many does, so they're kind of on the safe side. So realizing that and kind of learning that, I'm hoping that if this food plot ends up becoming kind of hopefully a good source where they'll come and hang out and eat, I'm thinking hopefully they'll come from there, since that's easy. Jump over the fence and you're right here. I'm just a little bit worried that with all this ryegrass and very minimal clover, and since I didn't lime or fertilize, that it might not exactly be that nutritious, or might not give the taste that the deer are looking for. I'm hoping that this weekend to hang a tree stand, because sad thing is I'll be busy. This is the only weekend of September that we'll be up here. The rest of the weekends I have mountain bike races and stuff like that, so I won't be able to hunt September, but I'll be able to hunt some of October and some of November. And we've picked out this tree. We've got some cutting to do because we've got a bunch of little trees around it, but I came in the other weekend with the weed whipper and kind of cleaned out underneath it. But I'm thinking, since there's quite a bit of trees, that I'll be able to that if I hunt this, I won't get silhouetted. It's that one big tree in the middle right there, and if I do some trimming in there, at least then I got some kind of cover and something to my back. The problem with the other stand I usually hunt is once all the leaves fall, it's pretty much like sitting on a telephone pole, and most of the bucks don't see me just because they're not really paying attention, but all the does, I think they know who I am. Once again, I think those are the resident deer that just are always on our property. And they always spot me and they always bust me, no matter whether I don't move or not. I think there's just not enough cover there, and they're there all the time, so they kind of know what the thing looks like. So when they see a big blob in the tree stand, they kind of get freaked out. But what I'm thinking of doing is I went and I cut a couple branches, and I think I'm just going to make some along the edge here, maybe in that tree and maybe one of these other trees around here. I'm going to make some licking branches or some mock scrapes, just hopefully trying to make it look as good as I can. These are the branches I cut. So I got those. So I'm going to tie those up, and I'll pick the camera up once I get those done.